the 2017 Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, or the Alfa Romeo Giulia QV. Now, this is literally the four-door Ferrari we were really hoping Alfa Romeo was capable of building, and they have actually done it. I am Jay, and welcome to this latest episode of Carbuzz Unboxing Reviews. And I gotta say, what you are looking at right here is the best, hear me out here, the best high-performance sedan on the market today. Hands down, it is better than the BMW M3, the Mercedes-AMG C63, you name it, but there's a lot of reasons why, all of which I want to talk to you more about today. Now, what's really, really interesting about this car is the fact that Alfa Romeo really could have taken, for an example, the same platform that the Chrysler 300 is built on, which is actually a modified version of that platform, is used for the Maserati Ghibli. And they literally could have taken that platform, done a lot of modifications to it, and, well, they could have used that instead. But no, they built an all-new rear-wheel drive platform from scratch that is underpinning the car that you see here, and it was so worth it. But let's start with the engine, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Alright, so that was the sound of the 2.9-liter bi-turbo V6 with 505 horsepower, available beginning at 2,500 RPM, and 443 pound-feet of torque, beginning at 2,500 to 5,500 RPM. Now, power goes to the rear wheels through an 8-speed automatic only. Now, if you live overseas in Europe, you can also get a 6-speed manual, but in America, only the 8-speed automatic is offered. But I really didn't find it to be that bad. It was really fast to shift. I didn't experience anything that made me not like it. So the fact that this does not have a 6-speed manual, I don't think it really takes away from the driving experience. Now, that engine is actually a Ferrari-derived all-aluminum 90-degree V6. It was developed specifically for the Giulia QV, and it's actually related to the Ferrari California T's twin-turbo V8, only with 2 less cylinders. And wow, just looking at all of the angles of this car, this one's painted Rosso Competizione Tri-Coat for $2,200. I mean, this thing, it looks just sexy as all hell. This is an Italian four-door exotic car. I mean, like I said, if you're looking for a four-door Ferrari, and Ferrari will never make a four-door Ferrari, they do have the FF and its successor to that car as well, which can seat 4, but it's not a sedan by any means. This is the closest thing to a four-door Ferrari. It just looks powerful even at a standstill, looks fast at a standstill, and I just can't literally stop looking at it. It's got everything that needs to be, or needs to make it, in Alfa Romeo. Look at all that carbon fiber along the side sills. It's got these Brembo high-performance disc brakes that you can see there. And some of the extra features, it has these 19-inch dark 5-hole wheels. It's costing an extra $500, but they just have that signature Alfa Romeo look to them, and I think they just look fantastic with this tri-coat red paint. There's also a carbon fiber active aero front splitter. And I love that quad exhaust out back and that rear diffuser setup. I mean, it literally has supercar exotic looks to it. And for what it starts off with base pricing and everything that goes along with that, it's just an amazing bargain. I'll get to pricing in just a few more minutes. But what are the best things about the Giulia QV, just kind of like the BMW M3, is the fact that you can drive this daily. You can get a family in here. It behaves extremely well in traffic. It doesn't take off on you. It's just very, very simple to use. And in my opinion, in terms of how it drives, it is actually better than the M3, the AMG C63, the Cadillac ATS-V. Look, acceleration is incredible. For example, 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.7 seconds, 0 to 100 miles per hour in 8.2 seconds, and a top speed claimed by Alfa Romeo of 191 miles per hour. That's just insane for a sedan like this. Check out all that carbon fiber hood right there. Again, carbon fiber is used throughout the hood, the trunk, the roof. All of it is done in order to eliminate weight. And speaking of which, fuel economy, 17 miles per gallon in the city, 24 on the highway, and a combined 20 miles per gallon. Total weight, around 3,800 pounds. Like I said, this engine, all aluminum, Ferrari-derived 90-degree V6, bi-turbo V6 in fact. So yeah, think of it as a cousin to the Ferrari California T's twin-turbo V8, like I said earlier, only with 2 less cylinders. But let's step inside here. And you have this black seats with the red stitching, and I don't think they could have done a better job with this interior design. And look at those big floppy paddles on the either side of the steering column there. That's what I like. They're just big and they're right in your face, as opposed to some other automakers. For an example, the Jaguar XE, I thought its steering wheel mounted paddles were just too small. Not in the case here. There's more carbon fiber throughout. Now the rear seat space here. Now, for the most part, people found it fairly spacious, but as you can tell, there is a little bit of a lack of leg room, but that is not uncommon for this classification of sedan. The BMW 3 Series, therefore the M3, also suffers from a little bit of a leg room, but again, you're buying this not only to take people around, but you're also buying it because it is such a driver's car. And look at this, just the layout here. More carbon fiber throughout. Now, what I really liked about this dash design is just how simple it is. I've complained about something like this before in BMWs, actually, where there's just too many buttons. But you know what? In fact, all German automakers, Porsche, Mercedes, BMW, all of which have too many buttons. But look at this right here. It is very simple and straightforward. You have this 8-inch main screen right there, which, you know, this was actually very interesting. I was at the Detroit Auto Show checking out this car, and one of the top officials of Alfa Romeo North America pointed out to me that Alfa Romeo actually developed their own navigation and infotainment system for this car, as well as the entire lineup, meaning it does not share Uconnect, which is part of parent company FCA. Uconnect, for an example, is found on Maseratis, and when I drove the Maserati Ghibli, I was actually kind of surprised to see Uconnect, because for such a premium brand like Maserati, I thought it deserved its own infotainment system. Well, instead, they gave that to Alfa Romeo, so full cheers on that. Now, how does this infotainment and navigation system work? Well, I didn't have any problems with it. I found it very intuitive, easy to use, a lot like Uconnect, but still a little different. I actually started to like this better than BMW's iDrive. Again, you can control it with a knob right on the center column or center console right there. So it's the same thing with pretty much every single car out there today. It didn't reboot or anything stupid like that. And the other thing that I really liked about this screen is that there was not a lot of glare from the sun. However, it did start to collect a lot of dust pretty quickly, so I don't know if there's anything Alfa Romeo could really do about that, but it was just one of those little nitpicky things that I'm kind of picked up there. Now, this particular Giulia QV comes with a Harman Kardon premium audio system for an extra $900. It also has the carbon fiber steering wheel for $400 more. Get that. The carbon fiber steering wheel is just so cool. It is perfectly sized. The driver is positioned ideally for a performance machine like this. Now, other features that you get in the interior is there's a 7-inch color driver's gauge display, 8-way power driver passenger heated seats with memory, all those carbon fiber interior accents, leather dash and upper doors, aluminum steering column, those mounted paddle shifters that you saw there, and bright aluminum pedals. You see the different driving modes there all the way on the left. You know, you activate race, and that pretty much turns off all of the safety features, electronic stability control, traction control, you name it. That's when you want to go to the track and have some fun. I typically drove this around in the normal drive setting, and I found that to be more than satisfactory, and it also just, no matter what driving setting you're in this thing, it's going to sound fantastic. Now, I want to get a little nitpicky again here. Overall, the interior material qualities were just absolutely fantastic, but there was a little bit, as you can see, right on either side of the shift lever here. I felt some of that leather was just a little kind of cheap. It wasn't thick enough. Kind of like, for an example, in pretty much every single BMW, they just covered the center console with thick leather, and I didn't feel the same with that here. So I think that is something that Alfa Romeo really should consider improving in the very near future. And that 8-speed automatic, yeah, would I prefer to have a 6-speed manual in here? To be honest with you, not really. I didn't find myself missing it all that much because that 8-speed automatic is it's just so good. Now, why didn't Alfa Romeo offer a 6-speed manual for the US? Well, they just figured the take rate wasn't going to be high enough. And BMW has told us repeatedly they are experiencing those exact same problems. So, for an example, the upcoming BMW M5, that will probably not have a manual option anymore. And nobody wants them. And it's very expensive for automakers to have both of them certified, both types of transmissions. So why spend millions and millions of dollars for something that nobody's going to buy? It just does not make business sense. Okay, so in terms of how this thing drives, look, I gotta be honest. This thing just begs to be driven hard, and it brings out your best driving skills, whether you're a pro driver or not. Now, like I said, Ferrari doesn't have to build a four-door sedan because Alfa Romeo has built it for them. All right, so let's talk about the competition. Now, as I mentioned, the BMW M3, Mercedes-AMG C63, Cadillac ATS-V, maybe even the Audi RS3, even though that's a bit smaller, but it's still very much a performance sedan. Pricing. The Alfa Romeo Giulia QV has a starting price of $72,000. With all this car's features and the $1,595 destination charge, grand total $79,195. I think that's a fantastic price considering its competition. The M3, for example, begins at around $65,000, but you can easily spend $85,000 on that car. Same thing goes with the AMG 663. I believe the Cadillac ATS-V sedan that starts in the low $60,000 range, but again, if you're willing to spend almost $80,000, this is the high-performance sedan to buy. Now, in terms of safety, like I mentioned, it already has those Brembo high-performance disc brakes, dual advanced front airbags, side front curtain and rear airbags, torque vectoring differential, rear backup camera, front and rear park assist sensors, blind spot and cross path detection, auto-dimming exterior mirrors, and a tire pressure monitoring system. This trunk here, it gives you 13 cubic feet of space. It's not the most amount, but I found it to be just fine. Okay, so what do I like most about this thing? Well, just look at it. It looks absolutely stunning inside and out. It drives beautifully on both the road and track. And look, I'm just going to keep reiterating here. This is a four-door Ferrari. Alfa Romeo has done it. They have exceeded my expectations, I think the industry's expectations as to what they were going to do here. Like I said, they could have taken the same platform as the Chrysler 300, which is what they did for the Maserati Ghibli, heavily modified that and called it a day, but no, they went the long way, the more expensive way, and created this. Now, what don't I like? Well, like I said, those few interior plastics feel cheap. Again, those are very, very easily fixable. Alfa Romeo just has to decide whether or not they want to invest in the upgraded materials. As I also mentioned, and as you probably also already saw, the cargo and rear space is kind of tight, but what can you do? It's not like the competition offers anything that's a whole lot better. However, if you want, you're going to have to, if you want a more spacious, high-performance sedan, well, That's what the BMW M5, for an example, is for, and Alfa Romeo does not build a direct competitor to that. However, they have just launched a crossover version built on the same platform as the Giulia called the Stelvio, and of course there is the Stelvio Quadrifoglio, or the QV version. Same engine as this beautiful thing right here. It is a crossover. It's more like a raised wagon version. I hope to review that as soon as they start arriving in dealerships in the very, very near future. But the bottom line here is that Alfa Romeo has done it. They have built the best driving high-performance sedan on the market. It does not cost any more than its BMW or Mercedes rivals, and there is no way you can go wrong on this thing. This is what I deem to be a very, very special car. But I'm out of time for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. Any more questions for me, just leave them in the comment section below, and I hope to see you all in my next unboxing review.